Hi St Paul's, it's Laura the Librarian. I hope you're all keeping well. I thought today that I would tell you a story. Well, when I say tell you a story, what I actually mean is I thought I would draw you a story. Okay, now obviously things are a little bit different to the norm, so I won't just be drawing on a bit of paper for you. So I'll draw on a computer instead and we'll see how it goes. Okay, so my story that I chose for you today is one that I really love, and it is called The Fisherman's Wife.
So here's our fisherman, here's his head, and here's his body. It's quite tricky drawing on computer, but it's worth a go, I tell you that now. There's his arms, and I think he is going to have a smiley face, smiley fisherman. And of course there's his fisherman's line, there it is. Now this story is called The Fisherman's Wife after all, so I should probably get on with drawing her. So here's her body, and I think she's going to have a skirt today. There we go, skirt, one leg, two leg. Pair of arms, always useful. Now, I think I'm going to give my fisherman's wife a bit of barnet, a bit of a hairdo. You ready? There we go. One hairdo. Okay. Now, I wonder what sort of face she's going to have. I think she's going to have a frowny face because our fisherman's wife was not a happy wife at all. And this was probably why, because this is where they lived. You see, it's a rather wonky falling down little hut. Not exactly what she had in mind.
So our fisherman one day took his rod and he went to try and go down to the riverbank to try and catch some fish, as you do. So out he went to the river and he threw out his line, reeled it back in. No fish. He'll try again. He'll try again. So he reeled it at his fit line, reeled it back in again. No fish. Third time's a charm, maybe. Third time lucky. So he took his rod, threw out the line. On the end of it, a huge golden fish.
So here is our huge golden fish, and he is an absolute whopper. Look at him. He's definitely big and golden. Oh, he's got a smiley face, which is always good. Imagine a fish and chip suppers you'd get out of this.
And he was just about to pick up this huge, great big golden fish when the fish spoke and said, "Wait! Don't eat me! I'm a magic fish. If you let me go free, I will grant you any wish you desire." Well, the fisherman didn't think that sounded too bad at all, so he let the fish go back into the river and he ran back home to tell his wife all about what had happened. But do you think she was pleased? No, think of that frowny face she had. She wasn't pleased at all. "Oh, fisherman," she said, "why did you throw the fish back? Look at it. We live in a tiny little hut like this. A tiny little hut. You should have said that a fish that you wished that we lived in a house. Go back to that fish," she said, "and you tell that fish that you wished we lived in a house." So back the fisherman went down to the riverbank and he called out, "A fabulous fish. My wife has a wish." And up, pop, hopped the fish, and it swam back towards the riverbank. "What does she wish for?" asked the fish. "A fabulous fish. My wife, she wishes that we lived in a house." "Go back to your wife," said the fish, "and you shall see what you shall see."
So he went back to his wife, and there she was standing in front of a brand new, very neat little house with one, two brand new windows and a very neat little roof. There we go.
"I lived happily ever after." Except soon after, the fisherman's wife began to sigh and grumble. You can join in with this if you like. "Ugh, ugh, ugh, fisherman," she whined, "this house is just too small for me. I think I should live in a mansion. A mansion's like a really big house. I should live in a mansion," she said. "Go back to that fish," she said, "and you tell that fish that you wished we lived in a mansion." So back went the fisherman to the riverbank and he called out, "A fabulous fish. My wife has a wish." And up hopped the fish and it swam back towards the riverbank. "What does she wish for?" asked the fish. "A fabulous fish. My wife, she wishes that we lived in a mansion." "Go back to your wife," said the fish, "and you shall see what you shall see."
So he went back to his wife, and there she was standing in front of a very grand mansion. Now remember, a mansion's like a really big house, but to make it extra fancy, I think it's going to have a lot of windows. Did you know that at one point having windows meant that you could have lots of money, that you could afford such a rare thing as windows? It was quite a status symbol. So I think we better give this mansion quite a few windows, including a long fancy one like that one. There we go.
They lived happily ever after. Except soon after, the fisherman's wife began to sigh and grumble. You can join in now if you like. Ugh, 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 fisherman, she whined. This mansion is just too small for me. I think I should live in a palace. Yep, I should live in a palace. Go back to that fish, she said, and you tell that fish that you wished we lived in a palace. Well, the fisherman went back towards the riverbank, and he called out, "A fabulous fish, my wife has a wish." And up, pop, popped the fish, and it swam back towards the riverbank. What does she wish for? Asked the fish. "Oh, fabulous fish, my wife, she wishes that we lived in a palace." Go back to your wife, said the fish, and you shall see what you shall see.
So he went back to his wife, and there she was standing not in front of a mansion, but in front of a palace. A very fine palace. Let's give it a few towers, shall we? Here we go, because all palaces should have towers, I think. And they're going to have turrets too. One, there's two turrets, and of course they're going to have flags. Because of course they'd have flags. Why wouldn't they have flags? And we need to have some windows, but I think fancy slit windows this time. Just some skinny windows. There we go.
And they lived happily ever after. Except soon after, the fisherman's wife began to sigh and grumble. She's pretty ungrateful, really, isn't she? You ready? Ugh, ugh, ugh. Fisherman, she sighed. This palace is just a little bit too small for me. I think I should live in a castle. Yep, a castle. I deserve a castle. And I think I should have a crown on top of my head. Go back to that fish, she said, and you tell that fish that you wish that we lived in a castle. Now I had a crown on top of my head. Well, the fisherman did love his wife, so back he went to the riverbank, and he called out, "Oh, fabulous fish, my wife has a wish." And up, pop, popped the fish, and it swam back towards the riverbank. What does she wish for? Asked the fish. "Oh, fabulous fish, my wife, she wishes that she lived in a castle and that she had a crown on top of her head." Go back to your wife, said the fish, and you shall see what you shall see.
So he went back to his wife, and there she was standing, not in front of a palace, but in front of a castle. Now they've got fancy tops to their towers, this castle. I think they're called crenellations, actually. All I know is that they look very, very fancy indeed, very smart. And of course, they've got the slitty windows again. Slit windows, just like those ones, like old time castles. And I think we're going to give it something in the middle as well, a big tower in the middle with another round roof, just like that. And ooh, little flag on top as well, of course, why not? And flags on top of the towers too. Go. And, oh, what have I forgotten? What have I forgotten? Of course, she needs her crown. There we go.
And they lived happily ever after. Except soon enough, the fisherman's wife began to sigh and grumble again. Come on, you can join in. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Fisherman, she whined, and she was getting really whiny by now. Fisherman, I just don't think it's quite enough, she said. Now, this beautiful castle and its crown on my head. I think I should actually rule the whole world. Yep, that's right, you heard me. I should rule the whole world. I should have a really big crown on my head. Go back to that fish, she said, and you tell that fish that you wish that I ruled the whole world, and that I had a really big crown on my head. Go on, shoo. Well, by now, the fisherman was beginning to think that his wife was getting pretty greedy, but he loved her. What was he going to do? So he went back down to his bank, and he called out, "Oh, fabulous fish, my wife has a wish." And up, pop, popped the fish, and it swam back towards the riverbank. What does she wish for? Asked the fish, looking a little bit fed up, quite frankly. Oh, fabulous fish, my wife, she wishes that she ruled the whole world, that she had a really big crown on top of her head. Go back to your wife, said the fish, and you shall see what you shall see.
So he went back to his wife, and there she was standing in front of their castle, but now it got some extra flags to prove that she was ruler of the whole world. And of course, she had got her really big crown. Look, it's a mega crown, whopper crown. Huge.
And they lived happily ever after. Except, soon enough, the fisherman's wife began to sigh and grumble again. Ugh, ugh, ugh. Fisherman, she whined, it's just not enough to rule the whole world and have a really big crown on top of my head. I think I should rule the whole galaxy. Yeah, I should rule the whole galaxy, the whole entire galaxy, and every planet within it. I think I should be ruler of it all, she said. Go back to that fish, and you tell that fish that I should rule the entire galaxy. Go on, quick off. Go quickly. Well, now the fisherman really did think that his wife had gone way too far this time, but he loved her. He loved her dearly. So he did what he was told. He went back down towards the riverbank and he called out, a fabulous fish, my wife has a wish. Up, boop, popped the fish, and it swam back towards the riverbank. Oh, what does she want now? Said the fish, looking really hacked off by now. No wonder she's been so greedy. The fisherman looked a bit ashamed of himself and said, a fabulous fish, my wife, she wishes that she ruled the entire galaxy and all the planets and the people within it. Please? The fish looked at the fisherman for a good, long, hard minute. And he said, go back to your wife. You shall see exactly what you deserve to see.
So the fisherman went back to his wife. The fish had long gone by now. And she wasn't standing in front of a castle. No palace. No mansion, even. No house. Nothing. All she was standing in front of was their little hut they started out with. All the flags are gone, all the windows, fancy otherwise, all gone. Everything had gone, even her crowns. Her fancy crowns had gone. Everything was gone, except for the tiny little hut they started out in. And there they remained for the rest of their days in that little hut. The end. And of course, I've got to give you a little exclamation point and a star, I think, to finish it all off. The end.
Okay, so that is the story of the fisherman's wife. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget that now you've seen how I do it, you can practice telling the story yourself as well. I mean, I've literally just drawn it for you. So you can tell the story yourself and be the storyteller. Don't forget, you don't have to tell it exactly the way I do. You don't have to say everything that I say. You can tell it how you want to tell it. Just draw things out as you go. You might even be able to tell the story to someone in a video call, maybe. You can set yourself up with like a whiteboard or a piece of paper behind you, and you can draw it all out while you're video calling someone. I don't know. Or you could practice telling it to someone else in the house. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. Take care, all of you, and I shall hopefully see you soon. Bye.
Hi St John's and St Paul's, I hope you're all doing okay. Really missing seeing you all. I'm at home with my family and I don't know about you, but we're having to create lots of games. So we've been playing a lot of cards, we've been getting out the board games, and we've also been making some up ourselves. So today I'm going to just show you or share with you one of those games. These are the things you'll need for the game. You'll need 3 or 4 different sized boxes, any kind will do. Alternatively, you could use plastic containers, again different sizes if possible. You'll also need a ball of your choice to throw into the boxes, preferably not a hard one so that you can't do any damage. Next, you're going to need to get some bits of paper and write down your points. They're going to go inside the box or stuck onto the box, and when you get your ball in the box, that's how many points you're going to get. This is where the fun begins. Let me see, where can I place my boxes? Right, if you want to make it hard, you can put the little boxes nearer to the back and some big boxes nearer to the front so that so the younger children will be able to collect some points. Right, now I've brought my family down to have a go at the game. Okay, so who's up first?
I'll go first.
Okay, Tom.
Alright.
Oh!
Right.
Yes.
2 points.
Yeah. Good, 4 points. Okay. Rosanna, are you going next?
Yeah.
Not a bad effort.
2 points, well done. Going to go for one harder one. Try the back one. Oh!
Yeah, I'll go next.
So how many points have you got now, Rosanna?
4.
Yes!
Oh, no. Oh, that's so close.
So what are we playing up to?
No, I think we'll go out to 10.
Okay.
Right, so my go.
Oh, close.
Oh no.
Oh,
Oh. Let's go for a 2.
no!
Oh, 0. Right.
Right, Rosanna, what points have you got now?
4.
Come on.
Woo! Oh! So Rosanna's got
6.
well done.
Go back a bit.
So I'm on 7. Oh, I'll go for the 3 and see if I can get to 10. Oh no, so close!
Alright.
Last round, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got to catch up.
Oh yes.
What have you
Great.
got, Tom?
I've got 7 now. If I get this, I've won.
Yes.
Oh.
Where's the other one go?
Right,
Spell.
Rosanna, you're 7, are you, Rosanna, or 6?
6.
Yeah.
Just need this. Yeah!
So guys, I hope you enjoyed our game. If you have a go at it, we'd love to see pictures of it, or if you make up one of your own games, send us in a picture. You can always send it to the email address at St John's or St Paul's. Or you could tweet your photos instead. Hopefully we see you all very soon, but in the meantime, stay well, stay safe and enjoy being at home.